This is the BreadWinner Podcast, hosted by entrepreneur, influencer, and sales wolf, Tyler Harris, bringing you the insights from the most successful forward-thinking entrepreneurs and influencers, so that you can rise to the top and make more dough.
Now, let's get into the show.
All right. What's up, everybody? This is the BreadWinner Podcast, and this is your host, Tyler Harris. I'm extremely excited because we've got a guest here, as always, and today one is a special one, and it is Logan Cohen. And let me go through a little bit of background on Logan, but we're going to let her tell her story and give a little introduction in just a second. But Logan's an entrepreneur, influencer. She was Forbes 30 under 30. A lot of different things she's got going on, but I'm extremely excited for her to talk about her current venture, Kudzu, which in my opinion is basically bringing students and schools together for the benefit of students and education, performance, and just their overall quality of life. It's really cool. It's kind of like, in my opinion, the Bitcoin of like childhood education, which is really cool. So I'm excited about that. But let's bring her on real quick and just let her give a quick introduction of who you are and where you're from and all that good stuff. Hey, what's up, Logan?
Hi, thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
So I appreciated the intro. You said it in a nutshell. Kudzu is the grade-based Bitcoin, basically. We reward students based on academic achievements, overall good habits. I'm a co-founder as well as the CEO. Kudzu launched about 2.5 years ago. We now have over 500,000 students. We're in all 50 states, and they can submit their report cards or daily attendance. They get a currency called Kudzu Cash that they could use to go shopping.
That is awesome. So let's just jump right into the first question. So what I want to hear about is your first kind of entrepreneurial experience. What was that like?
Oh, like first ever?
Like first ever. I mean, it could be like lemonade. It could be, selling candy at school, or what was the first?
Yeah. So I was one of those really cool kids that loved alliteration, and I came up with a proposal when I was like 7 for Logan's Leash Club, where I actually put flyers in all of my neighbors' mailboxes, but it was really just an excuse to get paid to like pet other dogs. But I actually had a subscription service that if they paid monthly, it was like discounted and stuff. So that was my first entrepreneurial journey. That
is awesome. And so one thing I did want to bring up before I forgot, I did see that you're going to be speaking at South by Southwest this year. So so talk a little bit about that.
Well, I'm really excited about that. It's actually my first time at South by. Awesome. So I got contacted by another fellow, Forbes 30 under 30, Jessica Santana, who runs a nonprofit. And she was like, hey, they need panelists, and I think you're a perfect fit here. So Forbes actually asked me to come on. So I'm really honored, and I can't wait to connect with people at South by.
That's awesome. So one of my favorite quotes of all time is that every successful person has a painful story. And the part that I've kind of always added on to that is, will your painful story have a successful ending? And so what I'd love to do, if you don't mind, is maybe if you could just share one of the painful stories from your past that you are grateful for now.
Oh, yeah. I feel like without pain or some kind of failure, there's really no progress. Just like one of my investors that said, every time I invest in a startup and an update is always great, I'm like, what's wrong? Like, I know you're hiding something from me. So I feel like with your personal journey, if you say everything's great, you're either just not leaving your comfort zone or you're not addressing something. So specifically with me, I think there wasn't one specific time, but it was in the beginning of the process where I was so fortunate growing up. I have an older brother, and our parents just treated us the same, that if we worked hard, we could achieve it. It wasn't like Ross, my brother's going to business, and Logan, okay, that's cool. My dad treated us very much the same. It wasn't until I started my business, and I have an androgynous name, Logan, that I started fundraising. And then sometimes, or most of the time, I was the only female and only 20-something in the room. And I was told, oh, no, we're waiting for the CEO, Logan. Oh, okay. That's me. Or like, okay, but who's really running this? Where are the adults in the room? You're the salesperson, right? And of course, CEO is something that you have to earn. Yep. But I was second guessing myself over and over again and trying to prove myself, when in actuality, I just had to work hard and get the experience.
So did you kind of, this is my personality, but I'm thinking you might be the same. Did you kind of enjoy that chip on the shoulder a little bit? Like when they would say that, you're like, oh yeah, like just wait till they hear what I'm about to present kind of thing.
Exactly. Well, in hindsight, like, yes, I enjoy that so much now, but like early 20s Logan
Sure.
kind of had like almost developing a complex of like, oh, well, if all of these really quote unquote successful people don't think that I fit the bill, do I fit the bill?
Sure.
And I'm just so glad that I didn't buy into that and instead just immersed myself with my team and my product, and the traction spoke for itself.
Absolutely. So tell me, what's one thing looking back that you quit doing that enabled you to win or succeed?
I quit actually looking at my email inbox specifically like it was something to be productive, because I read it somewhere. I want to give credit where credit's due. I just forget who said it, but it's your to-do list that other people have for you. And I used to think I was being so productive and I answer my emails, but have your specific projects and what are you trying to accomplish today? And I just felt my days just free up. My time management was crazy when I just allocated time to address those.
Yeah. So basically, I mean, you were allowing other people to control your day. And man, that's really good. I want to go back to a little bit of what you said when you were talking about that experience with being in a boardroom and someone saying, well, where's the CEO? We're supposed to be talking to Logan. Who are you? A lot of the stuff that we see now is this transparency and authenticity and stuff that's now fortunately coming through on social media. And I would think from a female versus male that it's even tougher to see that on social media. So what's kind of your viewpoint on authenticity and transparency and really showing people the real Logan versus the Logan they see here versus the Logan they see there? And what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, I think transparency is incredibly important, but I also think I take pride in keeping what's personal. So what I mean by that is, like, I'm a huge fan of Ray Dalio with the radical transparency. Yes. So in work and as well as just with my team, I think it's incredibly productive. Nothing's personal, but even like on Instagram, you won't see a lot of pictures of like my meals or pictures with family or personal life. And I totally support that for people that works for, but I think it's helped me with my mental health to compartmentalize and succeed in those separately. When it comes to male or female, I think that there are advantages and disadvantages with both. Entrepreneurship's hard. Sure. And of course, there's like an opportunity gap. We see the funding gap there, but I will never play the female card of, oh, this is so hard. Yes, there are unfortunately some instances that I wish didn't occur, but I see myself spearheading it to level the playing field in the future for female entrepreneurs.
That's awesome. One thing I want to commend you for, I remember when I was at Take Ownership with Gerard and ET up in Newark, and I think someone had said something like the day before, like the first day of the event, they're like, we need more female entrepreneurs up on stage and talking. And I'm pretty sure, didn't he give you a call like that night? And you came like the next day, like on the spot, no preparation, and just owned it, right?
Yes, thank you. It was so much fun. I mean, they FaceTimed me. It was the whole founders team, so it was such an honor. But I was so hyped on that FaceTime call, like, yeah, we're going to do this. Then I looked at the clock, and I was like, it's 10 o'clock at night. I'm speaking in like 12 hours. Like, I got to write this thing.
That's awesome. I remember being so impressed. I think I was on the front row when you were talking, and Gerard was literally like, I called her last night, and she was like, yes, I'm in. Let's do it. So that's awesome. Last two questions, and it's really kind of just some housekeeping questions. Who is one person that you would like to hear on the BreadWinner podcast?
Ooh, well, you know what? I mentioned her before, Jessica Santana. She's just all around boss, and has a strong mission, teaches kids all around New York City to code.
Awesome. That's to code?
To code, yeah.
Awesome.
Organization's New York on tech, but she's got that business too. So she's total
awesome. No, we will definitely do that. And tell everybody where they can find you on social media, or tell everybody where they can go, because a lot of people here obviously are going to have kids, and they need to obviously know what's going on with kudzu. So tell them where they can find that and where they can find you.
Thank you. Kudzu is available in the Apple App Store or Google Play Store. Any student 13 years and older, even up to adult learners, can download it. It's completely free for students. And you can find me mostly on Instagram at Logan C, S-E-E.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being on here. This one you had a little bit of preparation time, not like the last time I heard you. But thank you so much for being on here. I really genuinely love what you're doing with Kudzu. I think it's such an important thing to be doing and empowering kids and giving them that little bit of extra motivation they need to go out and really put effort in on a daily basis. So I appreciate you.
Oh, well, thank you for having me. And likewise, huge fan of BreadWinner.
Absolutely. Well, with that, guys, that is the BreadWinner Podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Harris, and we will see you next time.
Thank you for listening to the BreadWinner Podcast. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast and leave a rating on iTunes. For a chance to be on the show, send a screenshot of your iTunes rating to @TylerHarris page on Instagram, where he'll pick one person every single week. See you next time on the BreadWinner Podcast.